Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I thank the Honorable Member for the question. To explain how effective the laws, policies, and programs in place are in addressing the rate of violence against women and children. Honorable Speaker, I'd like to start from the Domestic Violence Act of 2009. Prior to 2009, there was no specific law to address domestic violence. So why am I picking on domestic violence and sexual offenses against women and children? The reason is that if we're to look at statistics coming out of the DPP's office and the High Court and Magistrates Court in Fiji, this is one category of offenses, sexual offenses and rape and sexual offenses against women and children, that we're looking at about 90% of the victims are women and children. And I wanted to start from 2009 because prior to 2009, if we're to look at our statistics, and I believe that to answer that question, numbers would be the best to deal with that particular question. If we're to look at 2008, sexual offenses in Fiji were sitting at 264 Magistrates Court. 2007, 279. 2009, this is when we brought in the Domestic Violence Act and policies relating to domestic violence against women and children. 387, the first year of the Act. And then from that year, Honorable Speaker, this coupled with the no-drop policy that the police took up, coupled with the removal of the need to corroborate evidence of rape victims in court, again in 2009, the removal of the traditional forms of apology as stopping prosecution in these types of cases, all these policies coming together, and also the sterling work being carried out by non-government organizations in this country to stem the spiking of violence against women and children. We saw a spike post-2009 in the rate of violence, sexual offenses and rape against women. It went up to 570 in 2010. This is in the Magistrates Court in Fiji. 2012, we went up to 1,203. 2013, 2,036. Again, the introduction of a helpline for children in 2015, for domestic violence in 2017. All these programs encouraged victims to report these matters, which prior to these were taken as a domestic matter to be resolved within the home, the very venue of these crimes. And from 2013, the spike, 2,036, if you look at statistics in 2015, Magistrates Court, it went down to 1,460. In 2016, 675. In the Magistrates Court, our statistics stops there. This was highlighted by the Balancing the Scales report of Fiji Women's Rights Movement. And if we're to look at the High Court, Honorable Speaker, the High Court, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, I must commend them for the great statistics that they publish every month in relation to rape and sexual offenses for Fiji. They do yearly summaries as well, starting from 2015 to 2018. For 2015 to 2016, May 2015 to May 2016, there were 462 rape and sexual offenses. And this is mostly, again, against women and children, over 90% of the victims. 462, if we look at 2017, 444 offenses, 2018, 378 offenses. So if we were to look at the numbers, Honorable Speaker, we can see a gradual decrease. Of course, I'm not saying it's good. We want a zero statistic for these types of offenses against women and children. So if we're to look at how effective the policies and programs are, that's all I can offer the House. What the numbers are saying in relation to indictments, in relation to statistics coming out of our judiciary relating to rape and sexual offenses against women and children. Apart from that, Honorable Speaker, I'd like to speak also about the work that the non-government organizations do in this particular area. Fiji Women's Crisis Center, we know the great work they do. They run the domestic violence helpline for government. And there's the Fiji Women's Rights Movement. They do a lot of survey, a lot of research in this area, coming out with a report as late as last year on balancing the scales and women's access to justice. We have an EVO task force, an elimination of violence against women task force under the ministry. It's chaired by the Permanent Secretary for Women, Children and Poverty Alleviation. It brings in all agencies that deal with domestic violence in this country to try and align the services that they provide to victims of violence when there is an event. Also, at ministerial level, we are looking towards a national framework on primary prevention of violence against women and girls, and we're targeting to bring this out in 2020, working again with the non-government sector and community at large. Apart from that, Honorable Speaker, the Fiji Women's Crisis Center, when we talk about domestic violence in Fiji, we're always referring to a report that a study that they did in 2010, 2011, Somebody's Life, Everybody's Business. Fiji Women's Crisis Center will do a follow-up to that particular report towards the end of next year. Again, that will give us a better picture of the landscape relating to violence against women and girls in Fiji. And last but not least, the ministry over the years, again, this was an initiative that started under the leadership of the late Honorable Dr. Chico Luveni, the Zero Tolerance Violence Free Community Program. Basically, it's an awareness program within communities that made them brought in capacity building and awareness on the topic of violence against women and girls. There's currently a review of an evaluation of that particular program with a partnership with UN Women. We are awaiting the final report on that to assess how effective this program has been and to see if there are gaps that we could enhance to make better the effectiveness of this particular program. So in a nutshell, Honorable Speaker, that is a summary of what we see as the result of policies and programs in place, and we look forward to the 10-year anniversary and survey by the FWCC towards the end of next year. Thank you.